Laura Harrier plays Camille Washington in Ryan Murphy's new Netflix series, Hollywood. I'm Tony Ruiz of Gold Derby. And Laura, one of the things about Camille is that she's certainly an actress of her time. And in the first episodes of the series, you see her kind of like, playing a lot of these stereotypical roles of what, people of color were getting at that time. So were those scenes uncomfortable, or was it kind of like a history lesson for you? How did you view them?
It was definitely uncomfortable. I mean, it really showed me and I felt it of what Black actresses had to go through at that time. And I really had so much more understanding and compassion for people like Hattie McDaniels, who was relegated to the maid role for her entire career. And she was this incredibly talented actress. Of course, she won an Oscar, but she was so marginalized and so unfortunate just to be an actress in that time, because I think she just had so much more potential than what she was given. And those scenes were definitely painful to shoot, it didn't feel good at all being yelled at by this racist white director. But I feel like it was really important to show that. And it was important to show not only what Black women went through at that time, but to show Camille's journey and her evolution.
Yeah. And to me, I feel like the pinnacle really, both from a performance standpoint and for the character, is that just beautiful sequence where you're screen testing for Meg. How many times did you do that scene? I mean, it just seems so perfect for that moment. Talk to us about what it was like doing that scene.
That was definitely challenging, but also one of my favorite things to shoot. And that episode was directed by Janet Mock, who I absolutely loved working with. And I think she was so helpful in bringing out that performance in me and connecting with me and with Camille on a deeper level. I mean, I think she's someone who really understands what it's like to fight for your opportunity and what it's like to fight to be in the room. And she's gone through so much adversity in her life and has come out so successful, but just purely because of her hard work ethic, and also people like Ryan Murphy, who are allies and who are champions of people in marginalized communities. So that was really, I cried like all day. It was emotionally draining just to cry take after take after take. But it was also fun. I mean, I love that stuff as an actor. It's challenging and really kind of puts you deep inside of this character, and gave me, just an even deeper understanding of Camille and of that time. So it was hard, but enjoyable at the same time.
I have to wonder, did you look at were there specific actresses from the time period that you researched in order to kind of incorporate that into Camille?
Definitely. I mean, my main source of inspiration was Dorothy Dandridge, who was an incredible actress and really didn't get her fair shot, I think, and was largely, until I think pretty recently, sort of forgotten by history. And we didn't talk about her, don't talk about her in the same way that we do a Marilyn Monroe or an Ava Gardner and, all of these sort of iconic screen actresses. And she was just as talented and beautiful and charismatic on screen, but given the time, she was just, her roles were so few and far between of what she was able to do. And she was really marginalized and had sort of a tragic life and career. So I just wanted to really pay homage to her, and also women like Lena Horne, who was another Black movie star at the time. And just kind of, I don't know, give them their due. And I think hopefully start a conversation about them again, a renewed conversation, and be able to look to these women and celebrate them in the way that I think they should have been celebrated.
The era, I think with a lot of Ryan Murphy's shows, the period details are so just exquisite. And so I can imagine that shooting, particularly the scenes where you're shooting Meg, the big old fashioned Hollywood sound stages. Yeah. What was that like? Did that feel different than, because you're doing basically a movie within a show, but did it feel different from other experiences you've had?
Definitely. I mean, it was so incredible being part of this time period, and it really transported you. As actors, we can do the research and memorize our lines and do as much character research and stuff as we can beforehand. But once you're on set in these 40s clothes and all these people are walking around in this incredible period costume and the old cars driving around, I mean, it instantly transports you, and it's kind of like half the work to really feeling authentic and like you're really there. So that was awesome and so much fun and such a good season. We had such a talented hair and makeup and wardrobe and set design team that really elevated everything so much. But yeah, it was really crazy doing the movie in the movie because we'd be there on set and there are these old cameras that are props, and then the real cameras that we're shooting on are kind of hidden behind it. So it really felt like we were being shot just by the 1940s cameras. And there's also the crew, that it's not a real crew. It was really this sort of weird meta thing of like the movie in the movie. And it felt honestly really real because I'm standing there doing a screen test for this 40s film being what looks like recorded by 40s equipment. It was pretty cool.
And being an award site as Gold Derby is, and being an old Hollywood nerd myself, that the Oscars episode is just one lovely thing after another. And so, you're playing an actress who in this reality is the first, Black actress to win an Oscar. And so I wondered, what was that imagination like? Was it kind of like a fantasy experience that it's like every young actor wants to imagine this, and the only difference is you get to do it on film?
Definitely that was part of it. I mean, I can't pretend like I wasn't, the little kid in my room practicing my Oscar speech with I don't know, clutching something like this. But I love that so much just because it was really about more than that. And that's why I really admired Camille so much as a character, because I think the weight of that scene and the weight of it for her is just knowing that she is the first and that there's so many little girls that were just like her who are going to be looking to her right now and seeing themselves depicted as intelligent and talented and glamorous and beautiful in a way that Black women hadn't been depicted on screen before and hadn't been celebrated like that. So it was really about kind of, the weight of history and the weight of, Black women's experience in America that was kind of fully resting on Camille in that moment. And that was what really kind of struck me and grounded it for me. And I definitely went and watched Halle Berry's acceptance speech when she was in real life the first Black woman to win Best Actress, and just how moving and groundbreaking and emotional that is. And to think, what if that had happened in the 40s? I think the world would be a very different place. So it was really powerful.
Yeah, and along those lines, you have these two just, I think, dynamite scenes opposite Queen Latifah playing Hattie McDaniel. And she says, I think she has one of the lines of the series about, being in the room. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like? Because I have to imagine that, it's both, experienced actress, talking to newcomer and stuff like that. So what was that? There seemed to be so many layers going on in those scenes.
It was so cool. I mean, it's Queen Latifah. I was so first and foremost, it's Queen Latifah. So I was just so excited to meet her and to get to work with her. And I've admired her for so long. And I would run home from school to watch Living Single when I was a kid. And she's just I think she's so cool and so talented and smart. So it definitely, it did make it multi-layered, because I think for Camille, she would have looked at Hattie McDaniel that same way, and she would have grown up watching her and admiring her and knowing that she is the only Black woman to have ever won an Oscar at this time. She would have been a huge role model and icon for her. So for me, it was just kind of, I want to learn from Queen Latifah and get her stories and her life experience and her advice in the same way that Camille would have wanted to from Hattie. So it's just kind of art imitating life in this really amazing way that definitely, I think, lended itself to the scene and just helped me so much, because I could just sit there and listen to her all day. It was really awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I'm glad there's more than just me that ran home to watch Living Single. So, every single person I've talked to from this show has said that this was just a happy set, a happy, joyful set. Why do you think that was the case?
I mean, this is my first time on a Ryan Murphy project, of course, but he works with the same people over and over again, and just the same crew as well. So many of these people have been working together for years and years. So it was not just in front of the camera. It felt like a little family, but it was behind the camera too. And I think that really created this really nice, comfortable energy. And everyone was so welcoming to myself and Samara and Jeremy, who are kind of the new people in his world. So it just felt nice and comfortable, and we all got along so great, and we really became this little family. And it was really cool too to be able for the actors have sort of, there was kind of us as like the kids, the younger generation, getting to work with these incredible veteran actors like Patti LuPone and Holland Taylor and Dylan McDermott, and these people that we all admired so much. And we all sort of, just got to hang out, and we got to learn from them and got to act with them, which was incredible. So it was such a gift.
I had read somewhere that that your my camera's not working for some reason. I had read that. There I am. I had read that that when you came into, I think you came in to do like a chemistry read with Darren, and I had heard that he was, and he told me this, that he was, as nervous, if not more nervous. So what was that? Because you two have such a close relationship throughout the run of the show that it has to be believable. So how do you develop that that relationship?
That is true. I think he was more nervous than myself and the two other actresses that were testing, which is just a testament to Darren is such a lovely, kind person. I mean, I think I don't want to put words in his mouth. I think he just wanted to, be present for us and do a good job and not do anything to impede us, which is so kind. I mean, so many times you walk into these chemistry reads and the actor already got the part, just doesn't care. So he's just, he's so giving as an actor and as a person. So that made it a lot easier for me. And I think to build our chemistry, I don't know, maybe it's because our very first scene that we shot together, which was my very first day of filming, was a sex scene that we had. So it was kind of like, hi, nice to meet you, let's go do this. Which, it was very professional and very much a safe space, but you kind of, you have to really trust someone in that situation. You kind of have to build that quickly. So maybe that was not a coincidence that Ryan made that our first thing. I don't know, but it was really comfortable with him and really easy. And he's just fun and funny and brightens up every set. He's definitely like kind of the jokester on set. The series is so, Ryan has used that term faction, and to me, as much revisionism as it is, it's also optimism. So why do you think the show, is that optimism, you think, the key to why the show seems to have, struck a chord with viewers? I like to think so. I mean, I think we all know the real history, and we all know the history, or hopefully, especially during this time right now, of marginalization of people of color in Hollywood, and of women and of people of the LGBTQ community. It's not a super uplifting story, and with pockets, obviously, of positivity of people who really fought for change and did have success there. But for the most part, it's heavy, and I'm so uplifted that things are changing now, and that we're starting to, I think, reflect the world that we live in more on screen. But I think that's why our show is so nice to watch, and it's uplifting because it is, grounded in this reality. And we do talk about the heavy subjects, and we do show these people for really fighting to make changes in our industry. But we get to celebrate their wins in the end too. That feels really nice.
There's been talk, I don't even know if this is true or not, and it doesn't really matter because I just think it's an interesting thought. There's been talk of, Hollywood becoming like an anthology almost. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if it was to become an anthology, are there other areas of Hollywood that you think would be ripe for the Ryan Murphy treatment?
Okay, first of all, I don't know either. I don't know anything this is happening. So this is not me saying anything that's factual that I don't know. But I mean, yeah, that'd be so fun. I would love to be in 70s Hollywood. I'd love to be in 60s Hollywood. I would love to have the hair and makeup and the costumes. I love, the 60s and 70s and that era of filmmaking. And there was also so many incredible films being made at that time as well. So that would be super fun. Something I would like to sign up for. I'd like to be, I don't know, like a Foxy Cleopatra, Foxy Brown, like something like that in a black exploitation movie.
That's actually really interesting because the series is a mix of real life people with invented characters, and so if you had the opportunity to play a real life person, is there one that's always been on your mind?
Ooh, I mean, Eartha Kitt would definitely be a dream. Yeah. Yeah, she was just so cool and so badass and so sexy, and so that would, then also that would be fun because that would kind of be that era. So that would definitely be a big dream of mine. Yeah.
Well, it's just a show that I think we need so much right now, and I really, really congratulate you. It's such a great performance. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys, and stay tuned for more interviews throughout the season. Laura Harrier, it's really nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So nice talking to you.